What's up, fellow spray painters? This is Brandon McConnell, and this is my second tutorial on spray painting. I have to recreate this painting here for a customer, but I have to add a waterfall to it. So follow along, hopefully you'll learn a few things. Hope you enjoy the video. To recreate that moon, I'm going to spray a really light coat of black up here, just like this. I'm holding the can a few feet back. And then for the mountains and the moon, I'm going to spray some white here. I usually use a piece of paper from a magazine to make the textures for the moon or the planets, but I'm going to use this large piece of poster board, put in the glossy side down because it's going to be a pretty large planet. And I'm just going to place it down and press gently and peel it up. I'm going to spray a little bit of white right here just to make the moon a little bit brighter. Kind of fade it out a little bit so it's a little bit brighter here. So before I place the planet stencil down, I'm going to spray some black down here to add some shading to the moon. Something like that there. Then I'm going to place the planet stencil down. You just want to place it down gently, you don't want to press down. Then I'm going to continue and spray some black over here for the mountains. And then I'm going to finish the sky. Make sure you get around the planet stencil really well. Now I'm going to add some stars. Just spray a little bit of paint on my finger. If you spray a lot, just flick it off to the side first and then start flicking it on your painting so you don't get big giant stars. Alright, now we can lift up the planet stencil. And I'm going to spray some clear down here on the black. So I'm going to make some mountains. I want this paint to come off for me. Here you got a page from my magazine. And I'm going to make the first mountain. A nice high one right here, so holding the paper like this, and I'm going to just press into the paint nice and firm, going over the edge of the planet. And I'll fix up that mountain later and make it look however I want with a palette knife. I want to actually brighten it up a little bit, so I'm going to go over it again. Now I'm going to make another little peak right here. Spray a little bit more clear paint. Now for the rest of the mountain range, I'm going to just put it down like this and press. Okay, now I'm going to put some shape to this mountain with my palette knife. Add some highlights to it. You want to break up the highlights so it's not all one straight line of white. Now over here I'm going to go and just do it real lightly. I'm going to add another peak right here. And add the highlight on this side. Add another little peak right here. Sometimes these natural lines that I get from making the mountains, I'll just make highlights on those and use that as my reference. Vary the pressure you put on the palette knife blade so you get different widths of the line. Okay, so now I'm going to take my black and I'm going to shade along here. I'm going to make sure I don't go up too high. So I'll start a little bit lower here and just go up gradually. Try to fade that out, feather it. I'm going to use some clear because it's kind of warm in here and wet this up a little bit because I want the white underneath to show through. Sorry about the glare here. But I'm going to just put my paper down like this and just start pressing and draw my mountain as I pull the paper away. I want this mountain to be a little bit brighter, so I'm going to go over it again with some clear and the piece of paper. I'm just going to do the same thing over here and make a smaller mountain. You see, the more you go over it, the brighter it'll be. It's going to pick up more of the black and show the white underneath. So I'll add some highlights to these, just real quick. Okay, so next I'm going to place my straight edge down, and I'm not going to make these mountains in the foreground very tall. I'm going to cut a lot of it off. So I'm trying to match the painting I did before here. So, and I'm just going to spray this all black. You want to make sure your straight edge is straight across. It's a little bit off here. Looks pretty good there. And you don't need to spray the paint really thick. Just go quickly as you spray. And fill this in with black. While you have the straight edge in place, grab your can of white, and I'm going to do some white straight across the edge of this straight edge, and then shoot some white straight down the middle here. Something like that there. So now I'm going to spray some black into this planet stencil. I'm going to do this to make the bushes at the bottom of the painting. Once you have a nice amount of black, take a sock and turn it inside out. This one's got a lot of use to it, but I'm going to try to still use it anyway. And I just fold it over and fold it again, and put my thumb in the middle so this gets a little bit curved. And dip that into your black paint. Once you have a good amount of paint on there, just start dabbing it to make the trees. Keep applying black to your sock so you can keep a lot of paint on there. Just going to add some white to this black here and make kind of a gray color for the highlights on the bushes. So just lightly dab right on the tips of what would be the bush. I'm going to make this a little bit brighter. Add some more white to the black. Okay, now we can use the palette knife and scratch in some twigs and branches amongst these bushes. Just want to lightly scrape and use just the tip of the palette knife. Just make some jagged branches in here. Now we can make some rocks. I'm going to spray a little bit of clear here so it's easy to scrape the paint away. And I'm just going to apply pressure like this, just to the tip of the blade, and just make some little half moon shapes and carve out some rocks. Sometimes I add little twigs and stuff next to the rocks. Helps make the rocks look like they're not just floating there. Do some more over here. I'm going to put a little more pressure here and add a thick tree or bush without leaves here. I almost totally forgot I have to add a waterfall to this painting, so I'm gonna do that now. Spray some white, and then tear a little piece of poster board, depending on how wide you want your waterfall. I'm gonna add a little bit of clear to the white so it's not so thick. Looks good. So I'm gonna put the waterfall right here. I don't usually like going over waterfalls more than once, and then I'm going to add some white going across right here. Now I'm going to use a straight edge and just put it down here and put a little burst of white to make some mist for the waterfall. I'm going to add a few more lines of white by spraying onto the straight edge here, kind of soften this up. I'm going to be putting the tree on the left side here, coming this way instead of on this side, because I don't want the tree to cover up the waterfall. I'm going to take a foam brush. This one's been used before. It's a little bit hard, but it'll work fine. So I'm going to start here at the top. Not quite at the top where the tip's going to be, but somewhere around here. And I'm just going to tap down. And I'm not going to make it totally straight. Work it in right about here. So I'm going to use a folded poster board technique next to really paint this tree in better. I'm just kind of doing an outline with this brush. And it's going to be better if you use a brand new brush. This isn't working out that great, but it's not going to matter in a little bit. So now that we have a basic outline for the tree, I'm going to start doing it with the folded poster board technique here. Take a little piece of poster board and fold it in half with the glossy side on the inside. And just spray some black inside until it starts to seep down to the middle. And I'm just going to start drawing the tree, so sit back and enjoy. Just keep adding paint to your folded piece of poster board once it runs dry. I'm going to draw this all the way to the end here. You want to make sure you taper the tree off evenly, nice and gradual. I'm going to take a fresh piece of poster board and start doing the branches. And make sure you get a nice sharp edge where you crease it here. Spray some black till it starts to fall down to the center, and let's start drawing the branches. Now I'm just going to start adding some highlights in this tree. I'm going to take my palette knife and just kind of add some texture by touching it and smearing it around a little bit. I'm going to just take a piece of poster board and fold it in half. And just fold these ends out. Make sure this isn't bowed like that. Want to make it straight. Place it down, not touching onto the paint, but just over it, and then spray a quick burst of white. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Hope you learned a few things. I hope it inspired you to try it yourself or try something similar.